Hello Substreamers and welcome back to another edition of Substream News. I'm Joseph, your presenter, and this week we have a special American USA edition, and I think you're going to love these stories that we've got for you. So if you're kind enough to just scroll down, give us a subscribe, and let's get on with the show. Yeehaw! England is a cup of tea. France, a wheel of ripened brie. Greece, a short, squat olive tree. America is a gun. Yes, where better to start than a story about guns? I'm sorry, but this is true of America. You are the gun capital of the world. Well, this story is technology driven and it's good news, I think. Yes, the land of the free, the home of the brave, is soon to introduce biometric guns for personal use. Now, these have been used by, professional law enforcement officers for quite some time. So basically guns that only respond if they recognize your fingerprints. But now we've got a company called BioFire. This is a smart weapons manufacturer. And they're now shipping guns that can do fingerprint and facial recognition. And they're just 9mm handguns. The reason for facial recognition is they're just for home use. So, let's say you were wearing a ski mask or like a Donald Trump mask to rob a bank. It wouldn't work. It needs to be able to see your face. So that does kind of eliminate some criminal potential for these guns, which is a smart design. Now, the Colorado-based startup has been getting a bit of flack for these guns because gun advocates are saying that it's kind of a backdoor way of putting more controls on gun possession. Now, that kind of verges onto politics, and we don't like to talk politics here on Substream News, so let's just move on. Well, I'm going to tell you a bit more about the gun. The firearm allows up to 5 authorized users, and as soon as you let go and it doesn't feel your fingerprint anymore, it puts the security on and disables the trigger mechanism, which is smart. The biometric sensors do not work if your face is obscured, as I've said, and it's just for home use. Now, the gun is expensive. It costs about double what a regular handgun would cost at $1,499. That's enough about guns for me. Whew. Let's move on to the next story. If you are an AT&T customer, this is bad news. There has been a massive data leak. 73 million customers are affected, and this is due to a big Web3 data scandal. So non-US users, if you're not familiar, AT&T is a huge telecoms company, and it's also the biggest 5G network. Their wireless network covers almost all of the US, right? We're talking about 300 million people covered. And they also kind of offer their telecom to other providers, and it's internet, it's mobile phones, it's a bit of everything. So this is a huge data leak, and it's worrying. Now, if you're American, it's very likely that you are an AT&T customer, so you're probably worrying now if your data has been leaked. Well, it's possible, and it's addresses, social security numbers, and passwords that were published online. But hold on, because there's a catch. So AT&T actually said they had not identified evidence indicating the data had been stolen, but had brought in cybersecurity experts to investigate. They didn't know they'd been robbed. That's interesting. That's like saying you didn't know your car had been stolen until somebody drove past you in it. Now here's the interesting part. I said addresses, social security numbers, and passwords, but not names, email addresses, or dates of birth. So they've got passwords, but they haven't got the corresponding email addresses. So actually getting into the account's not that easy, let's be honest. So customer passwords have been reset anyway. It's a data breach, it's a data leak, but I think it's not the worst one in the world. They seem to have responded to it pretty quickly. And the hacked data was from 2019, so a lot of that data will be just outdated by now. It's only 7.6 million current customers and 65.4 million previous customers. Next up, we have AirTags. US police warn those driving to Canada to watch for hidden AirTags on their cars. Well, you can't even go to Canada for safety these days. Vermont police have asked that if people are taking a road trip to Canada, they keep an eye out for AirTags on their car. Just do a quick search, people like to put them under the windshield wipers or kind of in the wheel arch, and criminals are using these to track and tag nice cars. Basically cars that they want to steal in the future. Now, if you don't want your car to be stolen, do a quick check. And actually do a thorough check. That would be way better. Okay, I've got a quote here from Ryan McLiverty. He's a cyber analyst with the Vermont Intelligence Center. And he says, they could be identifying vehicles that could be stolen and shipped abroad as part of a car theft ring. So this is not the first time this has happened. Actually, in December, Canada's York Regional Police said in 2021 that 5 incidents happened where AirTags were placed on vehicles that were then later stolen. Now, here's the kind of another tech twist on this, and it's a bit strange, is people are suing Apple. They've opened a class action lawsuit against Apple for how criminals are using their technology against them. I think that's a little bit extreme, but I think perhaps it's part of American culture to sue first and ask questions later, right? So Apple has argued it's not responsible for how AirTags are used. To be honest, I'm completely on their side. Why is it Apple's fault? Okay, we've got a nice short one here, and this is a funny one. The headline just blew me away. It says, American Airlines passenger 44 who berated cops, mocked their penis size, then wet herself after slugging very full vodkas in airline lounge was a bully who got so drunk on work trips colleagues had to carry her home. What a headline. Let me explain. So Angela Nicole Killian, 44, she's a divorced mother of 2. She was flying on American Airlines, there's the US twist, from Dallas Fort Worth to Bogota, Colombia back in September. I don't know why this is news now, but it was making headlines this week. So newly released police body cam videos show that cops arrest her for public intoxication after staff claim that she hit them with her phone in a rage. She claimed to have only had 2 vodkas, but was slurring and incoherent as she berated the police and then wet herself on the floor. I think the point of this is a PSA, a public service announcement. Another thing that's very American. Thank you guys for that. Just a reminder, if you're in public and you're on your own, carefully manage your alcohol intake because you can get yourself into real weird or uncomfortable situation if you're blitz drunk in public. And also be kind, be patient with service staff, just try and be nice, and if you don't like somebody's attitude, turn the other cheek, be the bigger person. Otherwise you might find major newspapers writing about how much of an asshole you are. Let's move on. Now, if you use Instagram and you watch Reels and you occasionally look at the comments for comedic responses or otherwise, you may have seen pro-American content commented with "the European mind could never comprehend." Equally, pro-European content says "the American mind could never comprehend." And it basically just about our cultural differences. Well, I'm going to tell you, as a European, there is one thing that we just cannot fathom, and it's American tipping culture. It is complex, and Americans are very defensive about it. I don't want to get into a debate because I don't live in America or the UK, and so it's not my culture to comment on. But I am going to share some facts, and these facts come from a massive survey in the US about tipping culture that was done recently. So this is recent stats. Here we go. 75% of people in the US think that tipping culture is out of control. More than half of the people surveyed think that businesses are replacing employee salaries with tips. 78% believe that automatic service charges should be banned. Around half of respondents said that they leave tips because of social pressure. 63% said that too many places are asking for tips. 48% of people are tired of being asked for tips. 10% of people are tipping less. 52% of people are tipping more. According to Human Rights Watch, tipped workers in states that eliminated the sub-minimum wage enjoy higher earnings, face less harassment on the job, and are less likely to live in poverty. So let us know in the comments, what do you think? Is tipping culture out of control? What's tipping like where you live? For me, tipping, just round up, and if it's a fair amount, it's a fair amount. Yeah, but I want to know what you think. Tell me about your country, your region. What's tipping like? Do you over-tip, under-tip? Do you do calculations? Let us know in the comments. And finally, on a lighter note, it was April Fool's last week, and so we've got some great pranks and tricks and April Fool's jokes that we want to share with you. 7-Eleven, the convenience store, pretended to introduce a Big Bite hot dog flavored sparkling water. That sounds gross. Could you imagine drinking the water from a can of hot dogs? Fizzy. Rosetta Stone, the language learning product, released Rosetta Stoned, which is an app to help people understand weed culture and marijuana jargon for their next trip to a dispensary to buy weed. Obviously, that's US targeted. BabyQuip released a joke app for translating baby speech. Bearabee released a joke 50-pound, that's like 22 kilo, teddy bear, which actually turned out to be a good idea, and thousands of people tried to order them. I think they didn't really understand that their market might love giant teddy bears. Another company called Tipsy Elves, like a cleaning company, they released a full body mop suit for cleaning your home, so you could clean spillages with your whole body. I don't think that's a terrible idea. I think there's people who would actually like to wear that as they do the cleaning of the whole home, right? So you don't get dirty and dusty. It's a joke, but it's not the worst idea ever. And some people might even have some fetish where that might come in useful. You never know these days. But the winner, my favorite prank, you should be able to see it. I found this on Reddit, and it's a prank using the most American condiment possible, ketchup. It says, "My best April Fools. Put this in the office bathroom. There was ketchup inside." Evil genius. I absolutely love it. Kudos to whoever thought of that. I will be stealing this idea in future. I will let you know how that goes. That is it for this week, guys. Thank you so much, substreamers, for joining me. I am Joseph, your presenter. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have making it. Remember, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. The number count on our subscribers is going up. We really appreciate everything you're doing for us. It's making a difference. The channel's growing, and that's down to you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. And to all Americans, yeehaw!